team, as only 8 remain in the 2026 USL-W League playoffs presented by Venture HR. I'm Alex Wiederspiel, joined alongside by Rachel Palmer. Riveters Soccer brought to you by Ristano Heating and Cooling. And, well, it's going to be a little different than a year ago, though the stakes are even higher, Rachel, but also the added bonus of it's going to be wet out there, quite a bit of rain leading into this one.
Yeah, the weather's certainly going to play an impact tonight, especially with the free kicks, with the corner kicks, any set-piece play, and with the goalkeepers, because when those gloves get wet, it's really hard to get a hold of the ball. But a lot different than last year. These Riveters are a completely different team than last year's playoff match between these two sides. It should be a really great game.
We're going to get into all of that. There are multiple push-pull factors in this one. We're going to take a look at some of the key players in this one as well, including Ellen Malloy, who has been spectacular coming over from Ireland for Pittsburgh this season.
Yeah, we've said it 1,000 times that this team needed somebody to take the place of Tessa Delarose, and Ellen Malloy has featured really well for this team. She is electric on offense. She's not afraid to get gritty on defense. She is just that all-around player that they need. She's got that Irish toughness.
Then Ai Kitagawa is, there's no other way to put it, she knows how to score a goal. The star player in many respects for a star-studded Minnesota team, and the product of Memphis, former Japanese national product, has been putting goals in the onion bag at really however she wants to do it, whenever she wants to do it.
Yeah, Minnesota has seen some other players find the back of the net, which has been helpful, but Ai Kitagawa has 11 goals this season. Pittsburgh's leading goal scorer has 5. So that tells you all you need to know about the offensive prowess of this player. And the Riveters are going to keep a very, very close eye on Ai Kitagawa tonight.
Let's take a look at our 84 Lumbers building a winner keys to the game. Rachel, what are you looking at as far as tonight's affair?
Well, listen, there might not be as many fans in the stands because of the weather, but there is still home field advantage. This is a turf field. Turf is very hard to play on. That ball is going to zip like crazy. The Riveters need to really defend their field, and they want revenge from last year. And on the other side with Minnesota, neutralizing the pressure game is going to be really big for the visitors. Getting scored on within the first 20 minutes would be a nightmare for this team. If they could keep it 0-0 going into 25 minutes or so, Minnesota's looking pretty good.
Saw the amount of pressure Pittsburgh put on Racing Louisville in their win on Friday, and in their last couple of wins at home, it has just been sort of an avalanche for the Riveters as they have just gotten better and better as this one has gone on. We're looking forward to the kickoff and start of this match coming up next from FNB Stadium in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We'll be right back after this on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
Since 1986, Pittsburgh has looked to Ristano Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical for quality you can feel and service you can trust. As your local team of dedicated experts, we work as hard as you do, caring for our community and delivering more. Like HVAC tune-ups for only $89, $250 tankless water heater rebates, and $149 electrical panel inspections. Rest easy with Ristano today.
Here's this ball rolls in, and an early chance is finished by Albert Dequa.
At FNB, we're not just changing the skyline of Pittsburgh, we're reshaping the landscape of banking. Building a new headquarters in the Hill District, making a $1 billion impact in our region. Fueling growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, creating opportunities. Because when our city rises, we all rise. Your bank might do business here. We're building a brighter future here.
Can your bank do that?
Welcome to FNB. Let's get started.
The skies have closed and the clouds have parted. The sun is out. Boy, that didn't look very likely an hour ago. Pittsburgh and Minnesota set for a rematch of a playoff win for Minnesota a year ago right here on this field. But it's the Riveters who are hoping for a different result this time around. Alex Wiederspiel and Rachel Palmer, the two best teams all year in the Central Conference, and they meet head-to-head in this one. And even as I mentioned it in our intro about the best goal-scoring team against the stingiest goal suppression team, conversely, Pittsburgh, one of the best suppression teams as well, and Minnesota's offense is nothing to be trifled with. These are essentially, in almost every metric, number one and number two across the conference.
Yeah, and I think the Riveters especially are going into this game with a lot more confidence, with 5 goals scored against Racing Louisville. And keep in mind, that Racing Louisville team, that's a feeder system to an NWSL club, a professional club. So scoring 5 goals against basically the B team of an NWSL club, and then keeping the clean sheet has to have this team feeling confident going into this match against Minnesota. Completely different scenario from last year, but the highlight for me is goalkeeper. I mean, last year you had Caitlin Thompson, who was a rising senior in high school, filling in because of the, players getting called back to college and whatnot. And she filled in very well, admirably, against a Minnesota team that is like as close to professional as you can get. But now Lexi Grundler, who has played in 6 matches, is in between the sticks.
Pittsburgh wants to rewrite the ending of this match. Minnesota wants to rewrite the ending of last season, where they came up 1 match short of doing what they needed to do to win the entire league. Let's take a look at the starting lineups as they get set for kickoff here. For Minnesota in net, it is Taylor Fox, a talented player from Titusville, Florida, and Taylor has played excellent at South Carolina, rose through the NWSL's Orlando Pride Academy, was actually called up in 2016 to the US U16 women's national team. The rest of the group, Grace Dunaway and Flavie Dubé up front. In midfield, looks like we're going to see 5 today is the projection, with Sky Leach working through Hannah Boughton, Talia Morisi, and the goal scorer we're all watching for, Ai Kitagawa, next to Jeanette Fieldsend. We'll talk more on her in just a moment, as Fieldsend, an incredibly talented player in not just 11-on-11 soccer. And then the back line, threesome back there today, including Kira Carfanta, Haley Mercereau, and Olivia Albert, as some pressure early on from the Riveters led to Fox having to play around with it. We talked about that up front. Part of what Pittsburgh has been so good this season is finding the right place, particularly seems like in sort of the middle third of the field, to trap, to create turnovers, create havoc, and then immediately they're moving the other way with the ball.
Yeah, and this is already a really positive sign, seeing Tatum Nelson, who was last year's leading goal scorer, already getting up heavily on offense, and player there in the midst of that scramble, McKenna Dominguez, is a player that she spent most of the season recovering from an injury. Ever since she's come back to this team, she has made an immediate impact. It's a player that a lot of people were excited about.
As Anna Corney is working in, nice attempt through and a little pressure put on, and ultimately belted away by Mercereau. For Pittsburgh in this one in net, it is Lexi Grundler, former Michigan State product and Tennessee native, joining the Bowling Green Mafia this year, this upcoming season, as there's quite a Bowling Green contingent on this Pittsburgh squad. Corney got a piece of that with her right, and ball was loose for a moment inside the 18, and redirects back towards Bella Vozar, who is one of just a few players who's actually played in all 11 matches for the Riveters, who forced another turnover here in the attacking third. They'll retreat, though, back to Piper Caulfield. The rest of the starting lineup, though, up front, Sabrina Bryan and Anna Corney. And, of course, this is a tale of two stories here. Sabrina Bryan, of course, is 27 and does a little coaching now in addition to playing for these Riveters. Anna Corney is an exceptionally talented high school player from Du Bois area high school, and this is not the first time she has had to play a team as gifted as Minnesota. In fact, a year ago was called into some serious action late in the season, including against this Minnesota team.
Yeah, and she's been a revelation since coming on. I mean, she has been absolutely excellent for this Riveters team, and they're looking for her to continue to be that spark plug. That's kind of the verbiage that's been used to describe her is this spark plug player. Try saying that like 5 times fast.
It's her vision inside the 18 that is just remarkable. Always seems
and
to know.
And for her age, is just like...
inside the 18 that is just remarkable. Always seems to know.
And for her age, is just like, whew, wow.
Always seems to know whether it's time to pass or shoot, and has 4 goals in the last handful of matches, as she did not play much in the first half of the season. And the Riveters were quite fortunate, as this a nice ball into the box, a little bit behind the intended target, and then Lexi Grundler let it get through her legs, but it only trickled through, so she was able to corral without any concerns there. We mentioned, so again, with the sun out and the weather expected to dry up considerably now after kickoff, you think maybe the field can drain some. The turf field, good header there from Porney, and right back to her. Porney with a left, Porney making a run, can't get through one defender, and a good header there from the back line and back the other way. In Navy kits, the Aurora today looking, as we mentioned, to rewrite the ending of last season. They were so close. That their captain there passing that one back. Then we'll get through some of the other players on this Minnesota team in greater detail. They've got quite a collection of players who can play internationally, have played internationally, and have excelled at the NCAA level. Not all that dissimilar from Pittsburgh. There are some similarities in the structure of these two teams. This one chipped in, and Grundler is there, as making a chase on that was Flavie Dubé, a Canadian international product from Ottawa originally and plays at Memphis.
And a welcome back to Haley Meserel. Not quite on this pitch, but used to be a Pitt Panther from 2022 to 2024 before transferring to the University of Central Florida. So welcome back to the Steel City to Haley.
And to Gracie Dunaway as well, who's not far from here. Grew up in Mars, Pennsylvania. Mars has produced some pretty exceptional athletic products, though.
Including Piper Caulfield.
Yes. I was thinking a little WVU bias on my part. I was thinking about the leadoff hitter for the St. Louis Cardinals, J.J. Weatherholt. But Piper Caulfield's a pretty good catch as well.
And her sister, Ellie Caulfield, of course, former Pitt Panther, now playing professionally over in Europe, I believe in Iceland or Finland.
The captain, Caulfield, set to return to Indiana this season. A dangerous one through the box. This one chipped high, and you could almost see Ellen Malloy, the star from Kilkenny, Ireland, was a little bit behind the ball and putting some air on it, and it just kind of sailed on her.
Yeah, she's had a couple goals that have just been like these ridiculous outside shots.
Lasers.
She's not afraid to take it, and you love to see that from your attacking midfielder. That's what she's there to do. She's there to set up plays, and if she's got an open lane, take the shot.
The rest of that group in the midfield, besides Malloy, Tatum Nelson talked about her. The Vermont native has come on strong, did not play a lot of matches early in the season, but this has been sort of the key for Pittsburgh. They're going to play a little long ball here, giving chase. That looks like Sabrina Bryan, and good defensive work to get this out of play, and a throw-in coming. But mentioned Tatum Nelson has not really been available for the entire season. Played 7 of 11 matches, and the Cornell product with 3 goals and 3 assists. 6 goal contributions in 7 matches for her. This one chipped into the box, high in the air, trying to give chase is McKenna Dominguez. Boy, we'll talk more about her. Talk about another player having an exceptionally strong second half. I don't even know if that's actually accurate. It's more like an exceptionally strong final quarter of the season. Didn't play. Now she's played 3 matches consecutively. This is her 4th. 151 minutes in those 3 matches. Scored a goal and added 2 assists in that span of time, including, I believe she had an assist on the blackout goal from Mina Sam last week. I don't know, did anyone ever find a bootlegged copy of that goal?
I don't know if it exists. That's a treasure for only us and the fans that were here that night.
And kudos to Mina Sam, who comes off the bench for this Riveters team and scored under blackout conditions as we were out of power for about 11 minutes.
This is the type of game that you're going to see today. It's going to be very offensive and in turn very defensive. You're going to see Minnesota and Pittsburgh just going back and forth, stretching out this pitch.
Oh, a couple of nice touches there, and the last one from Dubé did not quite find the intended target. Header here and working in the attacking third. Little chance to retreat here for Boughton. A UCF product, started her career at Missouri, went to Baylor for a couple of seasons and found a good home at UCF last year. Now with Minnesota, the Aurora did not sit on their laurels, added a couple of pretty critical players over the course of the offseason. Some returners, but really reloaded, and a big opportunity inside the 18. First big chance, and Grundler perfectly positioned to stop Kitagawa, who was looking for goal number 12.
Yeah, and of course, Kitagawa was the one who takes the shot, but my goodness, Kira Carfanta just dribbled through about 5 different Riveters players. Nobody really taking a step up on her on that last play.
Bit of a misplay there by Bella Vozar. That's rare. Able to recover. There's a call for a handball, but no one is blowing that one. Our officials in this one, Ashley Smeda, Stephen Vines, Quinn Stefaniak, and Alex Parent. And there we'll get a whistle here. Finishing off the rest of the Riveters back line. Actually, finishing off the rest of the Riveters in general, we got caught up on Tandem Nelson. Tandem Nelson, Emmy Butera, who found the score sheet in her last game. McKenna Dominguez, we talked about. And then the back line, of course, Riel LaBerge, who's been fantastic this year. Piper Caulfield, who has also been excellent. Taylor Green, who it's good to see her back, had to work her slowly back into the lineup, and that meant Gabby Lamparty saw more time. So now the Riveters, again, this is already a deep, very, very deep program, and the way Lamparty played during the shutout streak makes you think the Riveters probably have plenty of faith to bring her in should they need a backline substitution today.
Yeah, and she's dressed tonight as well as some of those other super subs that you mentioned as well, like Lily Bain, Kate Friday, Mina Sam, and then of course some players who maybe some players have been recalled back to their college team. So you see a player like Gabby Beinecke, who's also dressed tonight, who maybe hasn't been featured in the match day squad as much. So could very well see another high schooler out on the pitch tonight too.
And Beinecke, who played in this match a year ago, as there were a couple of high schoolers called into action for Pittsburgh in the loss to Minnesota, a 2-0 loss here. Now, Pittsburgh, it's worth noting, squeaked into the postseason last year, won the Great Forest Division on the final day, and that is just simply not the case the way the table ran this year. They went 9-0-1 and had it wrapped up after 8 matches. They were able to play some of their reserves in their 9th match on the road, still wound up getting the win, and then came back with full force for Derby Day last time you and I were here against Steel City. And so as a result, this is a deep group, and there's an argument that even with the recalls, that depth has kind of maintained itself thanks to a couple of things that have gone the Riveters' way, and a big part of that being the way the table ran this year, that maybe a little bit of a down year for the division, and they just took full advantage.
Yeah, but if you ask Scott Gibson, he's the first to say, listen, we play in a really tough division. He made that very clear when we spoke to him after the Steel City game. He said, don't let that, I believe it was a 5-0 score line, fool you. This is a Steel City team that's capable, that's pretty loaded, coached very well with Tomo Ovenden. He said, don't take anybody in this division lightly. And they certainly, the Riveters, I have to imagine, on Friday, certainly did not take Racing Louisville lightly either.
No, and if there is anything that kind of ends or quells that conversation about whether or not the division was down or weak this year, part of it has to be that final score line from that match against Racing Louisville in the semifinals on Friday, showing just how good Pittsburgh has been, that maybe, in fact, it's not so much that the division was down. The Riveters were just far and away better than everybody.
And again, that's a feeder team to a National Women's Soccer League team. I mean, I saw that matchup, and I'm not going to lie, I was fully confident in the Riveters being able to get the job done at home, but also thought to myself, oh boy, that's going to be a tough one. And then I'm at home watching the game, and all of a sudden, 5-0.
Opportunity for a header off the corner. That one will go behind the goal line and out. That was Talia Marisi, who tried to climb the ladder there, but couldn't find the right spot for it. Marisi from Long Island, New York, played some at Old Dominion and Kentucky. Had a terrific senior season for Kentucky in the NCAA with 7 goals in a little over 1,700 minutes, and one of a couple of players who played with former Aurora superstar Kat Rapp, who has got the pro call this year.
Yeah, with Spokane in the USL-W league.
Of course, much like Pittsburgh, Minnesota had to, and sort of the point of this league, Minnesota had to reload on some players that they lost for the best reason that you can lose a player. They are playing professionally. Tessa Della Rose, of course, comes to mind for Pittsburgh. She's not the only one. Ooh, that's a whistle coming here. A player for Pittsburgh was hit, I believe, in the back of the head.
I believe that's Bella Vozar, but looks to be okay. Immediately gives the thumbs up to the referee.
We had a chance to talk with her after the Derby match with Steel City, and she said something we've heard echoed by a couple of players this year, that we've pretty much asked them, have you ever been a part of a team like this? And the overwhelming response was, no, this is kind of remarkable what Pittsburgh has done. And the only match at home that was tight was, of course, that 3-3 draw and the miracle goal from goaltender Bailey Herforth, who came up in the final seconds of extra time on a Cohen corner kick and got the job done. But most other matches were decisive wins for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of confusion there on the reset of that play, too, after what we thought was a foul against Bozer, but referee decides for a drop ball, and Scott Gibson was making his voice and opinion known to the 4th official.
Boughton will send this to the near side, working in. Good ball, now working with the right. Another good ball from Duve.
Oh, what a cut.
She was looking for Carfanta, and it was Piper Caulfield who winds up with it. Nice header there from Corney. A little too heavy on that header, though, intended for Ellen Malloy. So after a couple of early challenges by Pittsburgh, Minnesota has settled nicely, and they are doing a much better job of possessing the ball here, particularly back here. They got to get action kind of started back here, and the challenge for so many teams who have come here to Pittsburgh this year, Rachel, has just been the inability to get it past this exact point where you see the aggressiveness of Dominguez and Caulfield on display right here.
Yeah, and this is the playoffs right there. You're going to see some chippy play, as you see between Dominguez and I believe that was Carfanta, but
yes,
this is the playoffs. I mean, that's what you want to see. These two teams are really, of course, Pittsburgh doesn't want to lose 2 times in a row on their own home pitch. Minnesota wants to spoil the party. Minnesota, I think, is a team that has exceptional expectations on them. This is an organization that's bidding for an NWSL team. They want to become professional. It's a team that has made a lot of headlines just from stadiums and branding and whatnot over the last few years. So there is an expectation. And last year they lost to the eventual champions, and so of course they want to get a spot in the USL-W League Championship, but can they break through against this Riveters team? I said if 20 minutes pass and it's still 0-0, I think Minnesota's going to be the happier of the two sides.
National semifinal appearance on the line, conference championship on the line as well. And we are into the 17th minute of a scoreless match here. Just moments ago, it was Emmy Butera on the foul. Long run attempted here, and way too heavy for Carfanta, the product of South Lyon, Michigan. Played at Dayton and scored 4 times in her final season at Dayton, and all 4 of them were match winners. I don't know that you can predict clutch DNA, but we'll keep that filed back for later if this one is as close as it was a year ago. In a match that I think most would argue Minnesota had the better of it, they ran into a really hot goalie who kept that closer than it probably was in Caitlin Thompson, who was, as you mentioned, just special in that match.
Once again, as you see on your screen, bottom corner there, Scott Gibson not happy with the calls of this officiating crew right now. But the Riveters seem calm and composed against this Minnesota team, and both sides really are playing well. Again, this is going to be a very offensive game.
Doobie Dubé, little give and go, and she's inside, and Flavie Dubé has scored. There is no offside flag up. It is 1-0 here in the 18th minute. Minnesota has opened the scoring in this one.
Yeah, just a lot of cutting and clear and concise passing, and Dubé actually making me laugh a little, looking right at the referee, looking for that flag, thinking it was going to come up. And Grundler does everything she's supposed to. She's supposed to make herself big. Just
that was a brilliant assist from Jeanette Fieldsend. Wanted to note Fieldsend earlier. She is a star futsal player. For those who are not familiar, is 5-on-5. Played with a slightly different ball, not quite an exact soccer ball, but it's heavier and a little smaller, and it requires better control. And I think you just saw a little of that control on display there.
You mean you don't play rec league futsal?
I would be very interested in trying it.
I tried it once. It wasn't for me, buddy.
I played, listen, I'm a big hockey fan, so you already got me at 5-on-5, and I played soccer growing up for 12 years, so I'm certainly would be intrigued by the idea, but it sounds like it would be pretty difficult. I was a defender. I did not handle. I was not in charge of trying to drive offensive play. Let's put it that way.
Well, speaking of defenders, I mean that pass from Fieldstone. I mean Fieldsend cuts right behind Piper Caulfield, and that's a player that's hard to do that with.
Anna Corney tries to split two defenders with that ball. Pressure being applied. Going to have to get this one away. McKenna Dominguez forces the turnover off of the clear from Carfanta and back the other way as Dominguez couldn't really do much with it. Turnover forced at midfield. I believe that was Corney all the way back to make a touch on it, but out of play. So this will be a bit of a mistake for Pittsburgh and a throw in here as, boy, the sun has really come out in earnest. The weather was not great leading up to this match. It was not good. I'm not going to quite use the word apocalyptic, but there were plenty of warnings, and the National Weather Service Pittsburgh was firing off a lot of tweets. They were very busy in that span of time warning folks about the weather. And now here we are in Pittsburgh, and I don't know about where you are locally right now. It may still be raining, but here it is gorgeous. Another ball just a touch heavy.
I think what's important for Pittsburgh right now is to just build possession. When you're down 1-0, you don't want to give Minnesota more opportunities to continue to pressure your goalkeeper. You want to give Grundler a bit of a breather there, and you want to build that possession and hope to get into the attacking third, and then, of course, start firing shots, start taking your chances. Anna Corney's been a menace. She's
a firecracker out there, and all that starts, by the way, with a great play from Emi Butera, who stopped Kitagawa, who was working her way down towards the 18 and found a good support behind her in Brielle LaBerge after forcing the takeaway. That's the type of D to O that you're looking for in transition, and it results in the throw-in, and they'll switch fields now. Vozar back to Grundler. No pressure for Grundler. She can take her time. Notable so far, we're through almost half of a half here. Very different weather from Friday when it was 98 degrees. They had multiple hydration breaks as a result of the intense heat that we were experiencing here in northern Appalachia. And looks like a foul coming here. This one going to be against Pittsburgh, though. They got Vozar.
I'm a little confused about that one. I believe that was
little hand
Dubé. Yeah, there was an initial reach from Dubé, but once again, I think Scott Gibson making his voice known about some of these calls.
Vozar, and has pressure on her in the form of the goal scorer Dubé, and she'll have to send this out. Another throw in here. This is essentially how it started last time, capitalizing off of the possession, off of the throw. And this time stepping up and making a good play off the header there was Dominguez. Dominguez, a former NCAA national champion, and had a pretty remarkable NCAA career.
Her timing has been a little bit off today. I mean, you saw Tatum Nelson just trying to feed her the ball there, and the timing has been just a little bit off, and maybe that has to do with the fact that she hasn't played a lot this season. She's still getting used to this team, and of course, you don't see Lola Abraham and Alexis Tylenda here tonight, so you need people to fill in those spaces, and for Dominguez, it's just been a hair or two behind her teammates.
That was Taylor Green who made the sliding play there. Green, of course, missed a handful of matches, a little less than a handful of matches, more accurately, missed a total of 3 and played sparingly in 2. The one that she was hurt in, and then her first match back, she came in as a sub off the bench in the second half as they worked her back in. But that has been part of the story for Pittsburgh this year. They have had to build the offense through committee. Their leading goal scorer and the leading goal. Oh, big turnover here, and then the pass from Dominguez just skipped over Ellen Malloy's right foot.
Yeah, and you know what? I know Malloy's being a good teammate, giving the thumbs up there, but I don't really get the rush there from Dominguez. She got the ball on the turnover. She had quite a bit of space. Give Malloy the chance to get set and make the run.
Another opportunity here. The pass too heavy again for Malloy. And a couple opportunities brewing, but so far the Riveters are not asking the right questions. Boy, you love Anna Corney, just is always around the ball. And, of course, right there, forcing Taylor Fox, who has not been overly busy so far today, forcing Taylor Fox to pick that up as Caulfield beaten outside to the right. Good ball back with the heel. And the Riveters recover nicely here. Now let's see if this chip into the box gets through and behind off the heel, trying to fire one in. Nobody can get it cleanly, and finally towed into the chest of Grundler, who is in perfect position to cut off the angle. That was a concern for everybody.
I think Caulfield towed it in to Grundler, and that type of confidence in your teammate, you're risking a potential own goal at that point. But Caulfield and Grundler, both very veteran players on this Riveters team, kind of the older of the upperclassmen. That takes a lot of confidence.
That's a great ball from Malloy. Tatum Nelson went down. Looks like this will be a freebie for Pittsburgh. Well, it went out, so actually there's no call here. This is simply just a throw-in. So no foul. But nice ball from Malloy to set that up in the first place. And it was Brielle LeBerge, who's had a nice season for Pittsburgh, who started the transition play. This one crossed over. Here's Vozar. Vozar's got some offense to her game. The inside move. Chips into the box. Big opportunity. Firing one off the crossbar. That will not go. A force field around the net, and Pittsburgh unlucky.
I mean, the replay is going to tell us the whole story, but just how in the world does this not go in for the Riveters? I mean, she simply just gets her toe underneath the ball a little too much, but I don't think that deflected off the goalkeeper, but that is almost identical to the goal that Minnesota scored, except at a different angle. But my goodness, what a chance. Now you're starting to rattle Minnesota a little bit. So I think for the Riveters, I know it's a playoff match. I know you have 90 minutes to play the match, but you can slow it down just a little bit.
It was a brilliant setup, and Malloy was inches from equalizing this at 1 here in the first half.
As you can see, another look here. Our camera crew, of course, doing a wonderful job, but right off of the crossbar from Malloy.
That angle, honestly, almost even better. Just a yawning maw of a net there. And unfortunately for Pittsburgh and the faithful Steel Army here, not a chance to set those fog machines. Good move there from Butera. Little touch pass up to Dominguez. That
starting
one
to get the crowd into it now.
Here comes Dominguez. She's going to retreat. Back to Bella Vozar. Good ball from Vozar off the outside of the foot. And giving chase to make the play is Dubé. Kitagawa sends this one inside. Here's Dubé again. Field send. This has been a good group. Created a good bit of pressure here. I'm going to launch one from distance, but that one, listen, you don't mind it. You know that Kitagawa can score, and seemingly at will. 11 goals in 10 matches. 11 goals in 783 minutes. But that one definitely would have required a little bit of divine providence.
Yeah, I think if you're Minnesota and the coaching staff, you're like, okay, we'll give you that one. Don't do it again.
LeBurge getting a header on this one. It is kept in the field of play. Far side working down the wing. Nice turnover there. Little give and go passing. Inside the middle, it's field send. Field send working back. And another turnover forced by the Riveters. Now, this is a little bit of the difference. When the Riveters are winning back the ball, they're resetting a bit. They're not quite, as you mentioned, they're not quite going attack, attack, attack. And I think that's part of what we talked about with Minnesota, needing to neutralize what Pittsburgh has done so well this year. Now a big opportunity. Firing one, don't think she got all of it. And then Dominguez had a brief chance at it and it took a funky bounce.
Yeah, it just took an awkward touch off of her toe and ending up bouncing really in the goalkeeper's favor. But Dominguez, little by little, she's starting to look better in this match. She's starting to feel more comfortable on the ball. Nothing you can do there with an awkward touch, though.
Dominguez, a former college teammate of Tessa Delarose and a newcomer this season for the Riveters, part of a big group that the Riveters brought in, and knowing that they needed, after what they witnessed last year at the hands of this Minnesota squad, knowing that they needed more on the of depth. And boy, has that depth made a tremendous difference this year. Nice tackle from Butera. And it came back. Ooh, and a player comes up limping. That was Boughton. One of a couple of Texas natives playing for this Minnesota team. Really a group that's from all over. They've got a couple of players who played at Minnesota, at the University of Minnesota, and some players with sort of tertiary ties to the Twin Cities, but don't know that they have the same level of high school flavor. Pittsburgh, of course, lots of Western Pennsylvania prep players who are playing here, and of course many of them came through what was then the Riverhounds Academy, and because the Riveters did not exist at the time.
I think ball possession now is so important for this Riveters team. You're in the 30th minute. It's not, we're not even close to hitting the panic button. I think the more you could build possession, because it really seems like every single time a Riveters attacking player gets the ball, immediately Minnesota hits them with the double team. If you get hit with the double team, that means somebody's got to be open, right? So you got to slow down, look up, look at the vision in front of you, and see who can I pass to? Who is the open player? In a 1-0 match where we have to have a winner, both of these teams right now, and again, it's still very early. We're only a third of the way through this one, but both teams are right now just looking for that one moment of brilliance, because 1-0 means nothing until late, as Anna Corney applying some pressure once again, and Olivia Albert, very talented defender who plays at Indiana, a teammate of Piper Caulfield, did not panic with the high school product bearing down on her. Albert is Minnesota's leader in minutes, even beating out her goalkeeper tonight with 929 minutes coming into this match. But that's, as you said, Piper Caulfield. Not only are their teammates, but they're center back pairings together.
The goal is to get down to the Final Four national semifinals next weekend. Been a tremendous run. Most of the teams are young in a certain respect. I don't just mean that in age, in terms of existence, but Minnesota a bit more experience in playing in this league than Pittsburgh, who is just in year 2 of existence. But certainly there are things about Minnesota I would imagine Pittsburgh would want to model themselves after, and there are probably elements of what Pittsburgh has done in such a short span that if you're a team like Minnesota, you're saying, are there things we can borrow? That's what happens when you put two teams together who are a combined on the season, doing the math in my head, but 23-0-1, I believe I have that right.
It's a heck of a record.
That's unreal when you combine those two. And the lone draw coming all the way back in May right here between Pittsburgh and Flower City.
And you wonder why they want to take the next step and go to that, the highest of the high leagues in the United States.
No, very clear. They have taken this incredibly seriously. It has been a great soccer weekend here in the 4-1-2 with 2 matches on Friday. Of course, Minnesota with their 2-0 win in on this field Friday afternoon. And then the River Hounds played on Saturday. And back here we are at FNB. It is a busy, busy weekend at FNB. And speaking of busy, Matt Grubba, who is, of course, the very, very prompt, talented sports information director for the Riveters, has been Johnny on the spot, as always, and working deep into the night as a result of all this soccer action. Little retreat back to the back line here, and Minnesota seems to have settled comfortably into how they want to play, and they have, for the moment, figured out how to avoid this Pittsburgh trap that has been the demolition of multiple opponents this season, including Racing Louisville on Friday night. As this ball a little too heavy, good defensive work, and gets to Grundler, who will launch this one away to switch fields. Up to Dominguez, well handled. Gorgeous move from Dominguez. Has some options. Vozar now had to slow down, and it's out of play.
Riveters are going to look for Ellen Malloy. Corny on this offensive attempt. Dominguez as well. She really starts to get into this match. But again, once again, you see it, but referee calls for the free kick. Every single time a Riveter player gets the ball, either inside or near the attacking third, immediately double teamed.
I would need to see that one again. I'm not sure that was a foul, but Malloy sells it anyway. And this is the player that you want in this moment.
A 2-person wall for Minnesota.
Malloy can't find anyone in the pink and tie-dye. And this is sent out, throw-in coming here as Kitagawa ran out of options in the middle of the field. It has turned into a gorgeous night here in Pittsburgh. Though, and listen, I don't know much of the train schedule. Maybe the train doesn't run on Sundays, but I haven't seen the train yet today, and it's a favorite part for many folks here. The background, you've got the skyline, the river, and then of course you've got the train line right there as well. We're going to get another foul just outside the 18, drawn by Dominguez.
Almost exactly in the same spot as last time you saw. After that first free kick, Scott Gibson was giving a few corrections to Ellen Malloy, so let's see if she uses them on this free kick attempt.
So Ashley Smida has marched off that two-person wall to the spot that they're supposed to be. Let's see, actually, is she going to move them back another step? I think she might. No, just a quick conference there. Malloy fires one. That's trouble off the crossbar, and it will land bar down. Ellen Malloy in the 37th minute The equalizer, it's one apiece in the conference finals.
I don't know what in the world Scott Gibson said to Ellen Malloy, but hey, whatever it was, it worked. Goalkeeper's in the right place. Ellen Malloy just sneaks that in. Absolutely nothing you can do. This is an insane goal. Getting a little bit of a lucky bounce from the crossbar. Look at the reaction from her teammates. Unbelievable.
The crossbar giveth, the crossbar taketh away. Nearly had one earlier, and the crossbar said no, and this time the crossbar says, sure, why not?
All of a sudden, who has the momentum now? It was 50-50 for the first 16, 17 minutes. Minnesota scores. Pittsburgh starts to take back that momentum a little bit. Can Pittsburgh keep this momentum going into the halftime break?
Still lots and lots of soccer to play here, and of course the issue remains the same, though, is that both of these sides are looking for one moment of brilliance, and they just got one. That's likely going to be a foul on Dominguez. You could see the push from up here. Boy, Dominguez has been...
She's really grown into this game.
But yeah, she's been sort of in the middle of everything, and drew the foul that led to the Malloy goal. I suspect at this point that physical play that she just displayed there on that last foul is a feature and not a bug. Deep ball trying to go far side and out at the flank. We'll get a throw in here.
We're going to be talking about that goal for a long time. That was...
Well, here's the noteworthy thing. We should have checked on the number of minutes, but that's only the second goal Minnesota has allowed this season. They allowed their first goal of the year on June 20th to Riverlight FC in a 4-1 win. They have outscored their last three opponents by a combined 6-0.
And how good must that be? I know Ellen Malloy wasn't here last year for that Pittsburgh-Minnesota match that ended 2-0, but you scored against the beast, if you will, the big giant that is. David just scored against Goliath. It's got to feel good for the Riveters.
Well, if the Riveters are indeed David, the rock and slingshot seem an awful lot bigger than a year ago.
Who needs a train when you have a slingshot?
The ambiance of FNB, and this has been noted by others who are not just us, we might be a little biased, but in that respect, but the ambiance of FNB has been noted by many to be among the best in the USL-W, and I think the train plays a large role in that. But the question is, which one of these two locomotives has a destination for the semifinals? Just moments to go here in the first half. It was a moment of brilliance off of a throw-in that led to Minnesota's first and only goal, taking the lead. Flave Dubé off of a brilliant setup from Jeanette Fieldsend. And then Ellen Malloy off the set piece there. About 20 minutes later, has tied us at 1 in the first half. And again, you can see the faith that Jen Larrick, the head coach, who we've got a call here that the fans don't love, but the faith that Jen Larrick has put in her back line, they're essentially playing 2v2 with the Riveters attackers right now, as Pittsburgh continues to play that pressure game looking for a turnover.
I can't stop watching Scott Gibson. He is livid with the officiating crew, and he's got another 45 minutes to deal with it. And he is a veteran coach.
Kitagawa, good ball in, back to her, just a little heavy, and great ball coming up forward for Pittsburgh, and then lost there right at the end of that play. Trying to go back and get it is Tannum Nelson. She's been just a half step behind for the last 30 seconds or so, and then there finally we have our first appearance of the train.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Like I said, you're not going to find better vibes. And Kitagawa tries one again from distance, about the same as her last shot attempt, and that one is well over. That leads to, of course, the brilliant hype train video that has started here. They've got a good and talented group of content creators
They sure
here.
do.
There are a couple of excellent pieces of media that they have created here for fan consumption. Of course, you and I were talking about the intro video that focuses on sort of the rules to not get kicked out of the stadium, which are pretty easy to follow for the most part. This ball into the middle, stepping up to make that play is Vozar, and out towards the train. Throw in coming here in these final minutes of the first half. We don't yet have an idea on stoppage time. Don't imagine there will be a ton, but we'll know shortly. No point for Minnesota to rush here, but Carfanta can't get this through Nelson. Then Nelson attempts a back pass that's intercepted by Dubé. Good tackle, no. That's a call that the entire River bench does not like. Ellen Malloy thought she made a terrific tackle, and now Ashley Smeda needs to calm a couple of parties down. Carfanta ripped the ball away from Malloy, and Smeda immediately talked to both of those players in that moment.
Every single coach from that Riveters bench jumped up too, and at this point, all Gibson can do is just shake his head. I mean,
and a couple of the reserves in pennies were up as well. Too heavy on the touch from Kitagawa. Looks like word from up above, 1 minute of stoppage time has been added. Again, not expecting much here, and that is where we're going to land. So again, there's really no reason for either side to rush. And I was in the process of saying that about Minnesota when they turned it over. And it was Pittsburgh who turned it immediately back over in that moment that led to the whole Malloy dust-up with Carfanta. But there's no reason to rush here. I think either of these teams should be pretty happy with a 1-1 entry. But more importantly, if you're going to make an attempt here, try to milk as much of this clock as possible at the end.
yeah, I think the Riveters certainly will go into the locker room happier with the equalizer. But I think both teams have played very well. I think both defenses have played well. Both goalkeepers have been playing well. It's just, this is what you expect from the playoffs. It's a competitive game between two very competitive teams that are really just, again, the premier of what you want in the USL-W League.
Well,
ladies and gentlemen, there will be 1 minute of
Malloy's goal, as we're playing a little bit of volleyball here, it appears, at the touch line. So trying to just engage in some trench warfare. Anna Corney fighting with Carfanta. It is physical down there. This one over the head of Caulfield, and a good ball back up. That one off the shoulder. Scott Gibson wanted a handball called against Dubé. That does not come. And now here comes a big opportunity for Kitagawa. Goes to the far side. Opportunity. Firing one. Grundler. That one off the crossbar. I don't know if Grundler got a piece of it or not. Let's see. Looks like they're saying goal kick here. Well, Grundler might have gotten a piece of it here, but it does not matter. This is a brilliant rising ball, and the last thing it touches is the crossbar, and that's really all Scott Gibson probably cares about at this point.
The crossbar is having a heck of a game today, but I mean, Riveters got a little too comfortable there at the end.
Woman of the match, the crossbar.
Yeah, just letting Minnesota just drive down the pitch. I was thinking, who's going to make the slide tackle? But both teams, I think, really looking forward to this halftime break.
It is halftime, one apiece. It was a 17th minute goal for Minnesota from Flavie Dubé to take the lead, and a brilliant set piece in the 37th minute, 20 minutes later, for the Irish star Ellen Malloy. And that's where we stand, one apiece here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. We're back with much more coming up after this.
Our blueprint at 84 Lumber started with the simplest of ideas: hire good people, provide excellent service, add value. From that foundation, we created our structure and shaped an industry. We build projects, homes, dreams, neighborhoods. We build careers, lives, futures. We build success. 84 Lumber.
One here as this ball rolls in, and an early chance is finished by Dinkwa.
In 2025, Pittsburgh proved once again champions live here. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, USL champions, built on grit, strength, and performance. And when it comes to protecting your home, there's a champion there too. Pella Windows and Doors, one of the most trusted names in windows, built for performance and proud partner of the 2025 champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And for fans, get 55% off installation and an additional $500 when you mention the Riverhounds. Pella Windows and Doors, built like champions.
Trying to get to a Final Four. Pittsburgh and Minnesota have quite a bit of work to do, tied at 1, heading to the second half of the 2026 USL-W League playoffs presented by Venture HR. And, of course, Pittsburgh Riveters Soccer brought to you by our friends at Ristano Heating and Cooling. It's 1-1 here at halftime. Coming up, it's the Coaches Show. Stick around. You'll want to see this.
We welcome you back here to the Pittsburgh Riverhounds Coaches Show, coming to you from Mike's Beer Bar, one of the best spots. Over 500 beers available here in the North Shore, right across from PNC Park. And we are pleased to be joined now by the head coach, the first head coach and only of the Pittsburgh Riveters, Scott Gibson, second year at the helm. And Scott, it is great to have you here joining us on the show. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, it's great. So, Pittsburgh Riveters, how's everything going so far, and how much do you like being a part of professional soccer, being a head coach in the city of Pittsburgh?
I mean, it's a dream come true. Last year was obviously our inaugural year. We had a great season, first one. This year the standards are higher, and that's what we have to remind the players and remind the staff that, you know, we've had one game so far, so it went very well last weekend. But no, it's a pleasure. We know it's a responsibility and honor to represent the city of Pittsburgh, and I love it.
You know, I talked to Rob a lot about what it's like implementing your coaching philosophy in his first full season at the helm. How the hell do you start with a franchise from scratch and implement a philosophy? How do you go about picking players and then implementing your system? How do you describe that process?
Well, I remember looking in my office at a whiteboard with no one on it. So I had to build the team through networking. Then you have to get the right people first. That's the most important thing. I'm sure Rob obviously knows that too. And then you've just the difference with the Riveters season. It's a 2.5 month season, so it's not as long as the Riverhounds one. So you have to have a methodology and a philosophy, but you can't you can't put too much information into the players. But you know, we did a good job last year, but we learned so much from last year, the experience from that.
6-2-3 in your first year. You win the Great Forest Division. And Rob, I'm going to ask you this question because I have an idea of how head coaches answer this. How good a job did Scott do last year in his first year to win the division with a brand new franchise? How impressed were you?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. I mean, we knew that the club and Scott and everybody involved were doing an amazing job in preparation. There'd been so many months going into it. However, when you go into a season, inaugural season as a new franchise, there's some established teams. You never quite know how it's going to play out. And Scott said he learned a lot. And sometimes you have to learn a lot, and you don't quite, get the results that you want in that first season. And so there's that process. But to go and win the conference and to do it in such style and with so many good performances and elevate so many players, and I'm sure you guys can talk about the players who've gone off to bigger, better things, I think was a credit to Scott and all the staff involved with that.
The World Cup is taking over Pittsburgh, and the Riverhounds are giving you a shot at $25,000. Join us for free World Cup watch parties at FNB Stadium and across the city during the World Cup for your chance to enter. Lucky fans will be selected to participate in a halftime contest at the Riverhounds match on July 11th with $25,000 on the line. Claim your free tickets and RSVP to upcoming events now at riverhounds.com/watch party. Enter to win big.
Every day across the U.S. and around the globe, thousands of businesses rely on Venture to keep their operations humming. From payroll and benefits to technology platforms, HR support, and talent solutions, over 3 million employees and their businesses trust Venture will be there for them day in and day out. Venture HR supports every step, from hire to retire.
At FNB, we rewrote the rules of banking and made getting everything you need a whole lot easier. Experience the one-of-a-kind eStore Common app. Checking, savings, loans, credit cards. One application, done in minutes. No hoops, no hassles, no surprises. Just one common app for more than 50 business and consumer products.
Can your bank do that? Didn't think so.
Welcome to FNB. Let's get started.
Since 1986, Pittsburgh has looked to Restano Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical for quality you can feel and service you can trust. As your local team of dedicated experts, we work as hard as you do, caring for our community and delivering more. Like HVAC tune-ups for only $89, $250 tankless water heater rebates, and $149 electrical panel inspections. Rest easy with Restano today.
Tied at 1 here in Pittsburgh. The Riveters on top, the Riveters even with Aurora, and what has been a dynamite first half, and will still need a decision here in the second. How did Pittsburgh get to this point, though, is noteworthy because it's so different from the way they did it a year ago, where they essentially had to battle each and every day all the way to the final day of the regular season just to get in to the game that they just won and ultimately lost a year ago, but won on Friday. And these are the big things. They win the division. They did it it only took them 8 games to do it, and then for good measure, won their next 2. 29 goals scored, plus 24 differential, had a 500-plus minute shutout streak, and of course, that's the end result, Rachel. They advanced to the USL-W playoffs.
Yeah, and some really nice, convincing wins, of course. And next year, this is a team that's going to look at that 9-0-1 and be like, how can we make that 10-0-0? That's the type of environment, that's the type of culture that has been built here with the Pittsburgh Riveters. But back-to-back Great Forest Division, again, say that 10 times fast, champions, and you get back-to-back banners. I mean, this is a city of champions. You got to love that.
Including the playoff win, the Riveters have now won 9 consecutive matches. They are 10-0-1, including the playoff win, winners of 9 straight, and they have not lost this year. As we noted, the late goal from the goalkeeper, Bailey Herforth, is the reason why that 0-1 is not a 9-1-0. This is the way USL-W Soccer brought to you by Venture HR. I'm Alex Wiederspiel. She's Rachel Palmer. We'll be back with the second half on Sportsnet Pittsburgh next.
Our blueprint at 84 Lumber started with the simplest of ideas. Hire good people, provide excellent service, add value. From that foundation, we created our structure and shaped an industry. We build projects, homes, dreams, neighborhoods. We build careers, lives, futures. We build success. 84 Lumber.
Since 1986, Pittsburgh has looked to Restano Heating, Cooling, Plumbing, and Electrical for quality you can feel and service you can trust. As your local team of dedicated experts, we work as hard as you do, caring for our community and delivering more. Like HVAC tune-ups for only $89, $250 tankless water heater rebates, and $149 electrical panel inspections. Rest easy with Restano today.
In 2025, Pittsburgh proved once again, champions live here. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, USL champions, built on grit, strength, and performance. And when it comes to protecting your home, there's a champion there too. Pella Windows and Doors, one of the most trusted names in windows, built for performance and proud partner of the 2025 champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And for fans, get 55% off installation and an additional $500 when you mention the Riverhounds. Pella Windows and Doors, built like champions.
At FNB, we're not just changing the skyline of Pittsburgh, we're reshaping the landscape of banking. Building a new headquarters in the Hill District, making a billion-dollar impact in our region. Fueling growth, revitalizing neighborhoods, creating opportunities. Because when our city rises, we all rise. Your bank might do business here. We're building a brighter future here.
Can your bank do that?
Welcome to FNB. Let's get started.
Tied at 1 in Pittsburgh as the sun sets on what has been a brilliant weekend of soccer in the Steel City. Alex Wiederspiel and Rachel Palmer here with you. And Minnesota, this felt in some ways like a basketball game, right? Pittsburgh maybe had the better of it in the first third. Minnesota had the better of it in the next third. And Pittsburgh had probably the better of it in the final third, but you could see the numbers there. Minnesota at their best probably had the better of it overall in the first half.
I think this has been a game that has just been completely enveloped in the midfield. I mean, you look at the shots on target and you see the numbers are very low. I'm astounded that Pittsburgh has not had a corner kick yet. Minnesota, of course, only having one, but this is a game that has been completely in the midfield with tackles and the amount of turnovers have been insane in this match.
And this, of course, the big goal set up by Fieldsen, but Flave Dubé opens up the scoring in the 17th minute. You can see right at the tail end there, what a setup.
Yeah, finding the back door of Piper Caulfield, a veteran player that's never easy to do, but my God, look at this. From Ellen Malloy, the Irish international, she was just spoken to by Scott Gibson just moments before this free kick got taken. He said, no, let's tune it up. She had a free kick before that didn't quite go their way. She tunes whatever Scott tells her to, and she gets that in the back of the net.
Boy, and Malloy has had a couple of really good opportunities in this one, though probably the bigger story is you see a big save from Grundler there on the leading goal scorer, Kitagawa, who comes in with 11. The Japanese product has been exceptional for Minnesota this season, an exceptional NCAA player as well, but McKenna Dominguez getting into it, tying up with a couple of folks on the Minnesota side. The thing that I guess is kind of noteworthy here, though, is there have been a couple of moments that I think each of these squads have left a little meat on the bone where, and you see it right there, that you just think, here's a great chance, and they can't quite connect.
I think awkward touches have been the name of this game. There have been times where both teams have turned the ball over and they're like in prime positions, but a player just doesn't quite get the right footing on the ball or sends it into the parking lot almost. It has been a match of awkward touches, and maybe that has to do with the fact that the ball is still a little bit wet. The field has not completely dried up. I'm not sure, but these are two teams that need to settle this game down. Okay, so you're back at 0-0. well, you're 1-1. Let's basically call it 0-0. Whoever gets a goal and whoever can keep the other at bay is going to go on to the Final Four. But who can remain calm in these next 45 minutes?
I kept referring to it as that one moment of brilliance. The more accurate way to describe it might be who's going to get the next moment of brilliance. That is the big question, with a fresh group of women on each side, a fresh 45 minutes on the clock, and probably for me the biggest question at this point now, as we of course saw no substitutions in the first half, how will these two head coaches, who are lauded as two of the best in the USL-W, utilize what they have off the bench?
Referee is telling Lexi Grundler something.
Is this directed at Grundler or directed behind? This might be directed at behind Grundler, where the Steel Army is.
I think she's telling her to take her towel off of the net. I'm not 100% sure, but Grundler and the referee are having a bit of a, I have to laugh. The referee was at midfield and Grundler pointed to both ears saying, I cannot hear you, but I've never seen that happen.
The water bottle and the towel she wanted behind the net is the decision that was made there. So this is where the beauty of the binoculars come into play here. As we are officially underway, we've switched sides of the pitch and trying to start a deep run for Sabrina Bryan there off the head of a Minnesota backliner, and a throw-in coming here. It'll be LeBurge who takes the throw. And nice job setting this one back up. It's Piper Caulfield who can't keep it in play, trying to get it back to LeBurge, who is retreating into a spot for where that was. Couple of matches started at 6 Eastern, so there likely will be some finals coming in from around the country in the USL-W. Lazy ball intercepted by Sky Leach. Didn't get a chance to talk much about Leach in that first half, but 3 goals on the season for her, one of 14 goal scorers on the year. We talk about the depth of the Riveters, Rachel, regularly, of course. They had, as we talked about, it was really done by committee. I think, did we settle on 18 goal scorers, or did they get up to 19 in the last match?
I think we're going to go with 19 because the ball was just, it was shared. It was almost like a hot pocket. Nobody wanted the ball for themselves. Nobody was being selfish. Everybody was being a team player, multiple goal scorers. And again, doing that against a Racing Louisville team that is a feeder for an NWSL team is certainly not an easy task.
It was in many respects, it was like a shot across the bow to the rest of the USL-W. This Pittsburgh team was like they were a bit of a fun story last year.
It made you look.
Right. This is real now. This is very, very much real now. And of course, being in this with Minnesota, a team that has been so dominant all season long. And obviously, of course, we looked at the Pittsburgh schedule earlier, but the numbers for Minnesota are just completely remarkable. Only 3 times this season have they had matches decided by 1 goal. As this one into the box, chipped and wide of Grundler. So goal kick coming here, early second half opportunity.
I think
that was field send.
The first 10 minutes of this second half are going to be so important in regard to who has the momentum, because when you come out of the halftime break, the break is the break. 15 minutes of not being on the pitch. Who is going to build the momentum? Who's going to connect the passes? Who's going to earn the turnovers?
And speaking of which, great turnover forced. Ball up to Sabrina Bryan. Bryan on a run. Bryan, inside move. Bryan, the opportunity through, and this is going to be in play still. Thought that was tracking out of play and winds up going out for a throw, not a corner. So all things considered, about as well as you could ask Minnesota to play that there. Boy, Bryan nearly made that one last move.
She's showing again her youthful skill.
Good ball. Corney fires, and this will be out of play. Not sure if Corney was going for the shot or the pass there, and where it landed kind of reflects that. That's a rare miscue from Corney, and it'll be a goal kick as a result here. So early on, both teams with a couple of early chances in the opening minutes of the second half.
I think your basketball analogy was perfect to describe this game. I mean, just so offensive, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I bet these players are wishing that the pitch was as big as a basketball court right about now. Yeah, this is a very short season, very cramped, and some tired legs are out there.
We don't have that advanced, is it Amazon who does the tracking, I think, for the NHL? We don't have the advanced to know how much they've skated, or in this case, how much they've run. But suffice it to say, if they're wearing Fitbits, those Fitbits are going to be going haywire by the end of the night if they haven't already. Big opportunity developing. Pass in. Bryan chips one. Great save. Ball still loose and cleared away. Danger, though, still remains. Great ball from Malloy. A little spin. Now to Bryan. Bryan working. Crosses. And headed twice in a row. Ball pinballing around. LeBurge, though, gets the third header on it. And then finally sent away. And how about the Riveters? They've had two excellent runs here in the last 2 minutes.
Oh, to be a fly on the wall in the locker room at halftime.
Oh, and a Corney just behind Sabrina Bryan. They were on the same page, and Corney was just a step slow on the pass. Maybe Bryan taking her by surprise with that burst. But also that was a tough play regardless. This would have been tremendously high skill play. That pass, though, right there, Bryan's first shot of the game and a save by Fox. That's Fox's first save of the game that you just saw on replay. A lot of space here. Opportunity working the other way. Going to try and chip this in. Backline ball by Green goes out of play towards the river. Don't think it got in the river, though. Would not have predicted this when both of us got here, walked into this press box soaking wet, and got here around the same time, and probably, I think, did the same thing, the hiding in the car until the torrential downpour stopped, as this will get out of the 18. And to see what we've had here, how much drier it has been, thought maybe the weather could be impactful. Not the case. Working to the left and can't quite get the ball through. That back line was Marisi, and up to Corney, who goes down, no call. Pressure applied by Malloy. Sending back was Boughton.
Yeah, I love how Malloy is really matching the physicality that Minnesota is giving to Pittsburgh. She's doing it. Sabrina Bryan's doing it.
It was a good step up there, and now lots of space and a chance for a run. Chipped into the box looking for Corney. She wasn't the first one there, though. Excellent defensive work there by the former Panther, Mercero. First Cohen corner kick, though, of the day. How about that? 52nd minute. And Pittsburgh will finally get a chance for a set piece here, and they have had plenty of practice all season, and they have had some success here.
Well, in the last game that we called, I believe, 14 corner kick attempts.
That was against Steel City. This one in swinging, coming out to make the play was Fox. Punched it away, but not quite out of the 18. A battle ensuing. Came back to the Riveters' Butera, but her attempt at a cross was immediately cleared, so Pittsburgh will maintain possession on the throw here. Couple of young fans coming out. I will tell you what, I was impressed. So got here, it's 5:45, 6 o'clock. It's thunder and lightning. It's a torrential downpour. We know the rain is eventually going to peter out, but the question was how hard and how heavy was it going to be in that moment. And probably the most impressive thing was there were still, when the gates opened at 6, there were still fans who were here right on time at gate open.
They have to get that spot behind the goalkeeper.
That is true. That's a great spot to watch. You're going to get action almost no matter what. And at least for a match like this, not necessarily for every single match the Riveters were in this year, as they really suppressed chances in quite a few of those. But in this one, Minnesota and Pittsburgh have been back and forth for much of this match. Both goals scored in the first half, in case you're just joining us on Sportsnet Pittsburgh. A 17th minute goal that opened up the scoring for Minnesota, a 37th minute goal to equalize, and nothing since for either side. But Ellen Malloy has been a spark plug.
And everywhere.
Yes. Her and Dominguez. This, however, a terrific ball. Now chasing is Marisi, and we'll have a whistle here. Kitagawa was down.
Pretty delayed whistle from the referee. Far kick. That's closer to the halfway line of the pitch than the 18, but either way, a set piece is a set piece.
Kitagawa was excellent last year. Already 15 career goals in her first 2 seasons in the NCAA. 9 last year, which puts her in the top 85 in the entire nation. And if you're thinking to yourself, top 85, that doesn't sound like that much when you recognize the hundreds of teams there are in the NCAA. We're talking about somewhere in the, we're talking about a couple thousand players essentially. And she is one of the top scorers in Division I. And certainly in her conference as well, playing for Memphis. She's had 2 chances from distance today, but we have not seen her connect. As Anna Corney, I don't know that she kept that in, but I didn't hear a whistle. There, okay, there's the official call saying it's going the other way. Now, I will tell you, that ball was already out when Corney played it, so I am a little surprised here. I thought that would be a throw-in for Pittsburgh. Not the case, and we do have our first substitution. So Fieldstend, who has the assist, will step out. Hadley Barrera is coming in. This is her 12th appearance of the year, though she's only started 3. 400-plus minutes this season for Minnesota. And we'll get a foul here. Fans were incensed over that one. Barrera made some pretty big contributions at Utah State this year, helping the Aggies win 10 and get back to the NCAA tournament. And we've talked about it all year, the amount of college talent that you'll see, Division I college talent in the USL-W is, I think, one of the true attractions of this league. Because you're essentially, in many ways, this is all, in some respects, this is essentially preseason to the upcoming NCAA D1 season. Caulfield into the box. It's loose. Can anyone get a shot off? No. And we are going to have a goal kick. They're going to say of the 3 players at pinball around off of that, McKenna Dominguez, it sounds like, was the final one to get a piece of it. Probably not intentionally.
Below us, Scott Gibson having another conversation with the referee and the officiating crew. 4th official has been very familiar with Scott Gibson's voice tonight.
And it is funny, too, because with the way the matches went this season here, I don't think you saw a lot of Scott Gibson talking to the officials. There's a certain point where, and I get it, you should never really stop getting on the officials as a head coach. That's part of your job. But with the way many of these home matches went for Pittsburgh, there was often not a need. But here you are, you're in a 1-1 match in the conference finals, and any help you can get, and folks are thinking, what do you mean by help? Any opportunity to work the officials. I mean, I think they do it the best in basketball, obviously, but there's a brilliant slide tackle here by Bella Vozar to end that run. But any chance you can get to work the officials a little bit, you're going for it. And looks like we'll get a goal kick here. They're both pointing at each other. Looked like an offensive line and defensive line saying, hey, no, they moved first.
In the end, Grundler getting the free kick. Now here's where the Riveters can get set up. Here's where they can really find their shape. Build something up. Work your way down the pitch.
After a couple of good early chances, Rachel, from both of these sides here in the second half, this has been a much quieter last 8 or 9 minutes or so. Have not really been able to find a play or a run that creates anything super dangerous here. Though I think Pittsburgh has probably had the better of it so far in the second half, and a whistle coming. Offside flag is up. But I do wonder how much of this will mirror the way the first half went, where if you're Minnesota, you're happy if you let's get through that early press of Pittsburgh. They're going to come out energized. They're going to try and trap. They're going to try and force takeaways in tough parts of the field for a takeaway to occur. If we weather that for the first 15 or 20 minutes, then do we find our play? Speaking of which, here it very well might be. A ball through. The opportunity, that one just wide of the net. Did someone in pink get a piece?
That's what the referee is saying as she signals for the corner kick, taking that shot, of course, to Liam Moraisi.
I believe it was LeBurge. Caulfield is running hard after the passer. And then it looks like at the end of this play, LeBurge gets just a little piece of it.
You know, it's not super clear, but I guess when it's not super clear, you give the referee a little bit of wiggle room.
It's a judgment call, and we do not have VAR here. Line drive header into the box and out of play. This should be a goal kick. That one would have been very tough to redirect, but still one apiece here. Hard tackle there, no call, and taking a little page out of the Riveters book with that pressure down low, forcing the turnover and allowing Minnesota to reset some here. Not a great ball there. Corney applying a little bit of pressure, then just sending one long. It's LeBurge on the header. Good head ball here from Dunaway, the Mars native. We talked about her earlier. Played at Purdue. 40 points in her NCAA career as a 4-year starter. 10th most goals in Boilermaker history. Throw in for Pittsburgh down the line. That is a terrific ball from Malloy. The concentration just to clear that thing with so much pressure on. And now let's see if Pittsburgh can eventually do what they do best, which is force a turnover, and in a roundabout way they do, as it's a misplayed ball out of play. And considering where that throw-in occurred from and the amount of pressure Minnesota had dialed up in the last 2 minutes or so, that was a win for Pittsburgh. Nice little give-and-go ball here. Now the Riveters trying to cut that one through. It was Malloy, couldn't get past Hannah Boughton.
Yeah, I think the Riveters play some of their best soccer when they're building out of the back.
Nice sliding tackle there from Caulfield. This is going to lead to a corner kick, as Caulfield didn't like what she was seeing with that amount of space at the goal line inside the 18 and took the only play that was available to her. So we haven't seen many corners in this one, but Minnesota has had the better of it overall. I have this down as their fourth, with only one for Pittsburgh. Into the air, and went off ahead and then back all the way down the goal line. It straddled for a moment and will lead to a corner on the other side. And Kitagawa will take the corner here. At least that's what it looked like for a moment. She has stepped off now. They're chatting it over who is going to take this corner. It is not going to be which makes some sense. I'm sure she's pretty good on set pieces, but this is the most dangerous goal scorer on the field. Into the air, another opportunity. There's the header, and not enough on it. Grundler's able to get to that far post and make the play.
Yeah, and I like this from Grundler kind of slowing it down. I think Riveters, going back to that point, as another turnover is made, I think they need to slow the game down. They need to build out from the back. That is when the Riveters are playing some of their best soccer, is when they're building out from the back, connecting those passes. Right now, it seems like the momentum has really shifted towards Minnesota.
Well, back-to-back turnovers there. And I would say Pittsburgh had the better of it to start the second half. Minnesota has had the better of it in the last 6 to 8 minutes or so. And fans don't like this call. This is going to be a goal kick. Pittsburgh fans were hoping for a Cohen corner. They're not going to get it.
Well, I kind of wish the referee there would have made a decision without having the players. It doesn't look good whenever you've got a Minnesota player going, no, it's a goal kick, and then there's a delayed call, and the referee says, yep, goal kick. It seems like you're letting the players dictate.
What did I just say about working the refs? What did I just say? Any margin that helps is what you're going for, and that's why it always is going to bother fans, but any margin that you as a player or coach can get, you take. Puts on the brakes here, working inside the 18, trying to build through that maze of pink. Came back out to Sky Leach, pinballing around. No chance for a shot here, but possession for Minnesota. Leach will retreat back towards midfield. A spot in the national semifinals on the line. By the end of today, there will be 4 teams remaining. One of these 2 will be among the 4. The hype train is back.
This is good. This is good for Minnesota, though. They're building up possession, and that's exactly what the Riveters need to be doing right now, is building that possession, making those short little dink and dunk passes. Minnesota is completely working that left side of the pitch.
It was another good slide tackle, though, from Piper Caulfield, who has just seemingly had all sorts of energy coming out of the locker room in this second half. It has been the Riveters captain who has made 3 big tackles to preserve the equal footing we're currently on. 1 apiece. Another turnover. This one right around that attacking third where it meets midfield flank, and it was short-lived. Not a good touch off the ball there. And again, I think you're right that, and this is kudos to Minnesota, I think some of this is what they have done to Pittsburgh. They have sped Pittsburgh up in a way that I don't think they want to currently, at a pace they don't want to play at.
Yeah, and Minnesota has just been dominating the offense, as you can see once again.
What a ball. A chance for the goal scorer. Brilliant sliding tackle to stop Kitagawa. That time, it's Taylor Green.
Taylor Green and Piper Caulfield making some really big sliding tackles here. This one just a heads-up play. I don't think Kitagawa really got possession, got really comfortable with the ball there, but either way, Green not letting her get an opportunity to take that shot on goal.
Boy, if they're able to walk out of this match without allowing Kitagawa to even so much as have an official shot on goal.
They just swapped out a cleat for Kira Carfanta. She is tying her now mismatched cleat.
So a corner kick here. Carfanta will take it into the air, and it was Caulfield who got the first piece of it. 3 headers, all Pittsburgh, and it gets out of the box. Good ball back in, but no room. They'll have to retreat once again. It's Dubé who has the lone goal for Minnesota. And they switched fields after going through Boughton.
Minnesota has completely...
Oh my, header in the box, and I think the offside flag is up.
Minnesota has completely pushed Pittsburgh back on defense. I think every player was back there on defense for a little bit.
Looks like Gabby Lamparty is going to check in, and this is a curious substitution here. Lamparty in for Nelson. So Lamparty, a little defense in for offense there.
Definitely an interesting substitute, putting in a defensive player for an offensive player, especially when you're tied at 1-1.
Well, I can't speak for Scott Gibson. I can only wonder if he's thinking right now, we've had a couple of real dangerous moments here. We need to try and batten down the hatches a little bit, and so adding in a backer who has been as good as Lamparty has been this season, part of the decision process here. Good ball just outside the 18. That one intended for Kitagawa was behind her, and the Riveters are able to clear, and they survive yet another push from Minnesota. But now all of a sudden, the Aurora looking to complete that Borealis, and they've had a couple opportunities to do it here in this second half. This will go off of LeBurge as she was trying to run up and make that play.
Just a reminder that after the match, players will be signing autographs on the pitch. Stick around and meet the team presented by King Orthodontics, Pittsburgh's most confident smiles, with locations in Wexford and Bridgeville. Visit them at kingorthodontics.com.
Lamparty showing off her prowess as a utility player, kind of sliding into that midfield, something that we haven't seen yet this season.
Little pressure applied here by Anna Corney. Pittsburgh has not spent much time down here in the last little while. We're now into the 70th minute here, and more than halfway through the second half, Minnesota has started to exert some of their will over the Riveters, yet it remains tied at 1. Should we require extra time, we will play a full 120. So if you had plans to watch Mexico and Canada, you may want to get that second TV up and running right now. Or excuse me, Mexico and England. Of course, Canada, great story, but eliminated on the 4th of July in a 3-0 loss to Morocco, with all 3 goals coming in the second half. Really nifty passing here. Good step-up effort, though, from Taylor Green as she stopped what looked like was going to be a bit of tic-tac-toe from Minnesota. Now, Pittsburgh with a deep ball here. Going for the header was Dominguez. Looked like she didn't get enough of it. Dunaway got more of it. Just behind her, and now here come the Aurora again. LeBurge steps into that one, intercepts, tries to cross, switching fields to Corney, and Anna Corney. Nice move to keep this one in. Yeah, look at that. They're going to say it straddled the line. Here comes Anna Corney. And a good defensive effort there to get that ball out past the goal line. This will be a corner kick, a Cohen corner.
Yeah, Anna Corney does not look like she's played 70 minutes. She looks like she just came on the pitch right now.
That was the mismatched cleat wearer Carfanta, who played really stunning defense there as Corney was giving her everything she had, and now a corner kick. And that one is going to go off the side of the net. Boy, what a brilliant opportunity. It was Taylor Green who was just past the far post. And you'll be able to see this here. This is a pretty acrobatic move for Taylor Green here. And for good measure, takes a little contact at the end of the play, but she's okay.
Just hits that side netting, but my goodness, what an opportunity for Pittsburgh. But can they keep the possession?
Well, LeBurge turning up the heat there. This ball into the corner. Can Bryan get there? No, it's escorted out of play by Mercero, it looked like. And that will result in another goal kick. Riveters turned up the pressure there a little, and that might be part of the mindset of the Lamparty substitution as well. You do need fresh legs out there at this point. If you're going to play the style that the Riveters play, where you're going to try and create spots to trap in and play very aggressively in sort of that middle third, and where that sort of attacking third and middle third line meets, you're going to need some fresh legs. And that is all season, as we've talked with Scott Gibson. The idea of how to utilize their depth in the postseason has been a massive story for this Pittsburgh team, and they didn't really have to do it in their 5-0 win on Friday. It's very clear they're going to have to do it today, Rachel.
Yeah, and Scott Gibson's the type of coach who he usually doesn't really start subbing until about the 75th, 78th minute.
A little trench warfare here on the far side of the pitch. Good pressure applied by Caulfield, but still coming back and ultimately cleared. But Minnesota trying to prod that back line for Pittsburgh, and it does seem like the Riveters have tightened up some here since Lamparty came in. Lamparty, who was excellent stepping in for Taylor Green when she went down and missed couple of games this season with an injury that probably looked worse than it wound up being, as we were not sure what her availability was going to be. They played it cautious with her. They played it safe with her, and ultimately that paid off, trusting the depth of the team, and they had Green available for the final match of the season against Steel City, and then, of course, the postseason.
Well, you said it. I think trusting the depth of the team is a great way to explain it, and Scott Gibson just sent one of his assistant coaches down to where the substitutes are warming up, and got a couple making their way down the pitch. And when you're making these substitutes as well, something you have to think of is, if this match goes to penalties, who do you want taking your penalty kicks?
Looks like there are a couple of players taking off the penny, so we may see some more substitutions coming here for the Riveters as they're able to survive another push here, but they themselves have not had much. Looks like they're going to try more of a counterattack approach here, and it's Ellen Malloy with a couple of good moves. Malloy still with it now, working her way inside. Here's Malloy battling hard and ultimately losing that battle to Olivia Albert, who stuck with her all the way. Albert, another teammate of Piper Caulfield's from Indiana, played 3,000 minutes for them, and also played for the U.S. when they were in France at the 2018 Generation Adidas Tournament. So again, we talked a little bit about the international experience, and there's plenty of it on both sides, but Minnesota, a lot of players who have had a chance to put on their country's colors in one form or another, whether it be in a tournament or a friendly. And that experience is certainly hard to not just come by, but hard to emulate. It's LeBurge on the throw-in. Bryan was trying to find space and ultimately lost it across the touchline. So a throw-in coming here, and we have a whistle as we are going to have a substitution here.
The high schooler, Gabby Beinecke, is going to be coming in this game.
Sabrina Bryan is coming out. So is McKenna Dominguez. So up front, big changes for the Riveters. Emily Hanrahan from Elmira, New York. Played for St. Joseph's coming in, but how about this? She played in this match a year ago. The South Fayette High School product, Gabby Beinecke, is in the match. And this is not, obviously we've talked a little bit about the recalls by some of the bigger NCAA Power 4 programs, and that has been a critical story here. But in a 1-1 match, trusting not one but two high school students is something. Is this one just a touch heavy for the intended target and instead rolls safely to Grundler?
Yeah, and I've had the fortune of covering Gabby Beinecke for the last couple years. South Fayette. Her coach, by the way, Sabrina Bryan, one of her coaches.
Wait, who?
Just a certain individual on this team. But also another high school teammate of hers, Caitlin Thompson, goalkeeper. But, I mean, Beinecke's on a very successful high school team, a South Fayette team that won back-to-back Whitfield championships, that won back-to-back state titles. A great, great team. So she knows success.
Mia DeRamo, another one, if I recall correctly, part of that group from South Fayette. 78th minute here, 1-1, no goals in 40 minutes. Our last goal was at the 37th minute mark in the first half. Pittsburgh came out and probably had the better of it early in the second half off of some of the energy from scoring late, and since then Minnesota, for about the last 15 minutes or so, has really put the screws to the Riveters. But the Riveters, to their credit, they have bent, but they have certainly not broken. And all that matters, and we haven't talked about it in quite a while, at least it feels like, but all that matters, that next moment of brilliance, and someone is going to do it. It's just a question of whether they're wearing pink or navy today. It's a good ball to Morisi. Back out. Kitagawa thought about it, decides to go with the through ball. That's a tough tackle in the box.
That's two in a row now for Taylor Green. And I mean, goodness gracious, we've seen in the World Cup how tackling inside the box could either go one way or go the other way very, very quickly. And
I mean,
she's made contact with the ball both times.
She's playing with fire, but that is a perfectly clean hit, perfectly clean tackle, and it will lead to a corner kick here. But that's brilliantly timed from Green, and boy, you know Scott Gibson is thrilled to have her available. Into the box, the header. Grundler falls on it. What reaction time?
Watching Grundler was almost like slow motion. It just seemed like she just kind of fell down, but that's the difference between having your heads-up goalkeeper.
Well, an underrated part of that there, too, is going to be being able to track that ball through all the traffic, where exactly, what trajectory it was coming off of. And Grundler has been excellent. You know, we again, one of the things that of the many storylines that we haven't had a chance to talk about, you know, the fact that earlier in this match, that goal that Grundler allowed, that was the first goal she's allowed all season.
Yeah, she has been lights out for this team, and this is a team that returned a lot of players, but not too many on the goalkeeping front. Of course, Caitlin Thompson, she's a young player. She's going to take her time and develop. Pauline Nellis went pro. You had to find someone to fill in that slot, and both Grundler and Bailey Herforth have been excellent for this team this season.
Yeah, Herforth started much of the early portion of the season. Grundler really kind of took over in the back half of the season. Ooh, bit of a misplayed ball and an opportunity developing for Malloy. Malloy has some pressure on and not able to get that through the back line. Excellent work from Minnesota, but here, some signs of life from the Riveters offensively, who have had to play much more of a defensive game here in the last 15 to 20 minutes, but maybe now starting to wake up a little bit and trying to probe Minnesota's structure. Now, what the World Cup has taught us anything, though, is that goals inside the final 10 minutes of the half are not safe.
Oh, I thought you were going to say chaos reigns supreme.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
It's the same,
what you said.
It's the same. I mean, it's the same basic story. Been a remarkable World Cup.
I don't think Minnesota can count the 4th of July fireworks going off, quote unquote, outside their hotel as quite CONCACAF madness. But you know what? It works.
Working around midfield here. A joust between two and ultimately taken away. Looked like Butera got it, but then could not get it through Dunaway. Hard contact there. Two players going for a header, ultimately won by the team in Navy. It goes out, will lead to a throw in here. They're going to say for the Riveters. That wastes a high effort play there from Carfanta. Actually, excuse me, that was Morisi. Ball taken away by Malloy. Soft touch to Corney. Corney lost it, able to get it back. Great ball back to Malloy. Malloy now working inside, and not enough on that one for Hanrahan as it can't stay in play and hits the side of the net. And to the point where Taylor Fox just merely watching it hit the side of the net.
Yeah, Hanrahan was part of that double team, by the way, that took the ball away from Minnesota Aurora. She has been a little bit of a burst of energy since coming on for this team.
2 goals in 7 matches, all of her appearances off the bench. Hanrahan led St. Joseph's 3 times in goals scored in her collegiate career. Ball a little too heavy there, and you are starting to see a little bit, I wonder about the legs here, as I don't think
Minnesota has only made that 1 sub, correct?
Yes, but I don't think either of these teams at this moment look worn down, but there's definitely a little less energy, and that is a brilliant ball inside. Corney can't quite get a foot on it. Still loose, cleared back away, and it's Kitagawa with pressure from LaBerge. Kitagawa sends up a great ball. Caulfield giving chase. Far side of the pitch. This is trouble, bouncing ball, and no one ever got a clean piece of it.
I think it would have been called anyway because looked like Hannah Boughton was at least 3 or 4 players offside.
84th minute here.
Commentators jinxes. Minnesota's getting ready to bring on another substitute.
Good ball for Malloy. No, just a little bit heavy. Malloy now applying some pressure. Got a little contact there at the end. No call. And here comes the substitution.
Substitution for the Aurora.
It'll be Olivia Rush.
Checking out.
Yet another Indiana player.
Morrissey.
And it is Talia Morrissey who comes out.
Olivia Rush.
Morrissey, 3 goals this season. Rush has not found a goal contribution yet this year. Or excuse me, Rush has not found a goal contribution this year in her 572 minutes, but I think at this point, in a match like this one that right now feels destined to go longer than 90, you're going to have the freshest legs you can find. I was trying to be ginger about how I phrased it earlier, because I don't think they look tired, but you can definitely tell it is not the first half anymore. There is some wear and tear, if you will. Great ball, and no, just a little behind the intended target. Oh, man, huge opportunity missed. It was Barrera, and it was behind her. And now the Riveters coming the other way. They don't have numbers, but they do have space. Chipped from way down and nobody close. Not a problem for Fox, who fields it like she's calling for a fair catch and will take her time.
Again, playing with FIFA rules. If this does go into extra time, you will get the 120 minutes. And then if you're still even at the end of that, you get penalties. And my goodness, something's got to help you if you're Minnesota and you have to kick towards the Steel Army. And Nelly, for that matter.
Nelly introduced this year for the Riveters, the newest member of the team, if you will. Steel Army trying to rally and make some noise. You could hear it on the far side. I don't know if you could hear it on your TV screen right now or however it is you're watching, but I can hear it over the bullhorn here. But we are deep into this match, and that next moment of brilliance just has not come. It will eventually. That's the one thing we know for sure. Working it around midfield. Plenty of space and time here for Boughton. Minnesota taking their time here. It was Kitagawa who retreated. Sky Leach now at midfield. Rush sends across, switching fields. Great through ball, trying to attack Piper Caulfield, and Caulfield got there first. You think she looks healthy?
Oh, Piper Caulfield, I mean.
Unbelievable.
That's your face of the team. Not only is she your captain, she's your local player, and especially in a match like this where you are facing that extra time, you need somebody with her leadership capabilities. This team has a lot of leaders on it. I mean, they have a coach in Sabrina Bryan, for crying out loud. But Piper Caulfield she plays for a really well-known and very solid college team. She's the captain of this team. You want your captain to lead by example, and she's doing that.
Early in the year, sort of my glib remark there, early in the year, though, they were easing her in. She was starting, but only playing about 60 minutes. And again, it comes back to sort of that management plan. Obviously, some of that was with her NCAA season in mind, but some of that was in mind for matches like this so that she could play deeper. And they really had to put that to the test, as Scott Gibson pointed out, when Taylor Green got hurt. They all of a sudden had to say, hey, Piper, you're probably going to have to play 85, maybe the full 90. And coming off of a major injury a year ago, she really does she looks 100% out there.
Well, and it's a testament to her as well to go from Green to Lamparty. Oh, and also your goalkeepers are switching as well.
Here we go. Pittsburgh with a possibility here, trying to center one, and that one was redirected out of play. So a late Cohen corner kick, 89th minute.
Your screen is shaking right now because this crowd has really come alive. Corner kicks again, 14 when they played Steel City. It's been a problem area for this team, but you know who they're aiming for right now, Lamparty and Caulfield.
Can Malloy do it again? This one in swinging and high in the air. Nobody got to it. This might be another corner kick, though.
The referee does indeed signal that.
So back-to-back Cohen corners here as we enter the 90th minute.
And keep an eye out on Taylor Green here, as she's shown on your screen. She and her defender have been getting quite handsy on these corner kicks.
Back behind the 6-yard box, this one comes out with no opportunity for a shot. And looked like Kitagawa overran it. Trying to go a through ball, and that one's not going to make it home. It was a brilliant setup idea for Bella Vozar, who we know, while she plays on that back line, they really trust her here in Pittsburgh to try and press for offense when they're looking for it. And she very nearly came up with a brilliant moment, but well defended by Minnesota here. We're going to have 2 minutes of stoppage time starting here in about 10 seconds. Certainly not quite FIFA levels of stoppage time that we've seen. I'm trying to think, the largest amount of stoppage time I think I've seen live is 10 minutes.
10 or 12, something like that.
It's happened a couple of times in this World Cup.
Honestly, you know, this has been kind of my phrase this whole year, but I don't think I could tell you who the happier team is going into extra time. I think both teams have played really well. I think the substitutes have been managed really well. Larrick has made far less.
That's a good turnover forced, and no call. Scott Gibson wanted one. That one went through LeBerge's legs, but coming back to make the play is Taylor Green. She'll kick one to Grunler. Grunler, the windup, didn't get a lot on it. And finally cleared away over the head of Beinecke. Only 2 minutes of stoppage time, so there is not much opportunity here. This will be escorted out of play, and it is a goal kick. Boy, I think the other part of this, too, is here. That was some of the strongest pressure we've seen from Minnesota in a little while here. It's noteworthy right now in this moment here that we talked about how Minnesota kind of dominated the middle third of this second half. It didn't get a goal to show for it. Whether they're going to regret that or not, because Pittsburgh has started to show signs of life, I think, in the back third, the final third of this second half. And the question, as we always ask, is what is going to carry over if we do find ourselves stopping and going into extra time here, which is certainly what it appears we are headed for, barring something spectacular occurring in the next 30 seconds. Trying to switch fields here. That's Mercero's ball. Across to the far side. One last potential push. Kitagawa. Great ball. Big opportunity in the box. It is in. An extra time goal. No flag is up. With only seconds to spare, Minnesota has a decisive strike.
I was fully convinced that Kitagawa was going to take that goal or take that shot on goal, and I think this crowd is silenced. This crowd has been silenced.
Scored by number 2, Gracie Dunaway.
And of course, now Minnesota is making a substitution. So yes, the stoppage time has quote-unquote ended, but there is going to be more added on because of the substitution, the celebration for the goal. The goalkeeper came all the way down the pitch to celebrate with the team. So I would anticipate about a minute of quote-unquote extra stoppage time, if you will, coming up.
Well, they won't have much time to go here. Going to try and go long right off the bat.
Yeah, I think that's a mistake. I think you have to push everybody up, but sending in a long ball that is a 50-50 chance. Dribble it up the pitch.
Dubé working it down. She had the first goal of the match, battling inside the corner. Looks like we're going to get a quick goal kick here. We have not received the final whistle, but Grundler's got to work fast. Good header there from Lamparty. A chance here. Malloy. That ball won't get through. Excellent defensive work from Jelena Zabilic, and that will do it.
Minnesota
And
Aurora 2. Pittsburgh
unbelievable finish to this one. Gracie Dunaway off the feed from Kitagawa scores in stoppage time, 90+2, and that does it. For the second year in a row, Minnesota takes Pittsburgh down on their own pitch.
I mean, this crowd has just been stunned as you see the final look here. And
quick correction on my part. It was Dubé on the assist. Brilliant pass from Dubé.
Dubé with the assist. And just, first off, let's give credit to Ai Kitagawa, who could have very easily taken that shot that she just dished off and decided to be unselfish and send it to Dubé. And I don't know if Grundler was anticipating that, to be honest with you.
It's a terribly difficult way for this season to come to an end. Pittsburgh falls in the Central Conference Finals. Congratulations to Minnesota winning the conference once again and heading to the national semifinals. We'll have more to break down a remarkable Riveters season that comes to an end in heartbreaking fashion in the group of 8 when we return here on Sportsnet Pittsburgh.
In 2025, Pittsburgh proved once again champions live here. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds, USL champions, built on grit, strength, and performance. And when it comes to protecting your home, there's a champion there too. Pella Windows and Doors, one of the most trusted names in windows, built for performance and proud partner of the 2025 champion Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And for fans, get 55% off installation and an additional $500 when you mention the Riverhounds. Pella Windows and Doors, built like champions.
One here as this ball rolls in, and an early chance is finished by Alberdinqua.
Minnesota will get another chance to rewrite the ending. For Pittsburgh, excruciating fashion. They'll have to wait another year. A goal in stoppage time in what likely were the final 30 seconds or so of stoppage time ends their season as Gracie Dunaway scores her third, and it's the Mars, Pennsylvania native who sends her hometown team and their fans to the exits. A remarkable season, though, Rachel, as Pittsburgh got to this point without losing a match, and it took stoppage time in this one for it to get done.
Yeah, it's an insane ending. I don't think anybody expected that last goal. You can see the look on the face of the people in the Steel Army, just utter shock, the few of them that are there. This game was electric. I mean, this was a lot of fun. And again, I go back to your analogy, the basketball analogy, back and forth and back and forth. It was just constant action. And I mean, really, if you think about it, Minnesota is the new rival of Pittsburgh. Of course, you have Steel City in your derby, but this has become quite the rivalry in such a young USL-W League career for the Riveters. But hats off to Scott Gibson and the team for a great season, a 9-0-1 record. I mean, winning the Great Forest Division back-to-back. Hats off to the Riveters.
Riveters' final record will be 10-1-1. To your point, Rachel, and it's been a blast working with you this season, but their new white whale will be Minnesota Aurora. Twice, the Aurora have ended Pittsburgh's season earlier than the Riveters had hoped. For our entire team, for Rachel Palmer, I'm Alex Wiederspiel saying so long on Sportsnet Pittsburgh, and we'll meet again next time.